happens now? There's only two of us.
There is another out there. It's you.
How do you know about that symbol?
Hey guys, we're back with the Power of Two podcast.
I'm Jay.
And I'm Amber.
And today we're going to review the newest episode, the season 4 premiere of the Charmed reboot. So we've been waiting for, almost a year for this thing to come out?
Yeah, almost a year. It's been a really long time. It feels like forever, really. And I don't think any of us, per se, knew what to think or what it was going to be like.
Yeah, I think we should just get right into it. We're not going to recap anything. So if you haven't seen it yet, go to the CW website and watch it. There's some ads and stuff, but it's probably the best way to support the show. So watch it, come back and listen to us and see if you agree with us or not.
So, what did you think of the episode?
There were some parts that I really, really liked, and there were some things that I didn't really like. I think the beginning dragged a little, and then the middle part just was a little silly, I guess. But then it redeemed itself towards the end, and it left me wanting more, but in a good way. So I think overall it was a good premiere.
Okay.
What about you?
I don't know what the fuck I just watched.
I'm sorry, this is so ridiculous.
Like, literally, I don't know what I watched. The only word that I can think of to describe this episode is ridiculous.
And here I thought I was holding back.
Like,
No,
I
agree with you.
Like, I can't even describe how, like, ridiculous it was to me. Like, I was like, this is so bizarre. Like, I thought, okay, we're on to something, because the episode started off, we kind of got introduced to Kayla or whatever. And then I'm like, okay, Mel's doing her thing. And then there's that scene where Maggie is fighting demons with Jordan, and he opens the bag, and there's this like funny noise coming from the bag, and out comes this like ball of fluff with googly eyes.
Are you for real?
And I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, what the fuck is that? I was like, oh my God. It was so weird. It was like, she just opened the bag and that came out. I was like, oh God, I think this season is going to be crazy. I think it's going to be really ridiculous.
Yeah, I didn't, the parts for me that were just ridiculous was setting up Michaela or Kayla. I mean, we know her name is Michaela because they announced it before the premiere because it was already leaked. But yeah, let's just go with Michaela. So they introduced Michaela, and I just thought the way they did it was a little, I know they had to be fast about it, but I just thought it was a little clunky. I didn't like when they teleported right in front of her, her bus that she lives in, and Maggie was about to get run over by her. I thought that was just a little stupid. And the whole exchange, like getting her to the command center, like her manifestation powers kicks in and she makes a little ball come out that she painted, and she opens up a portal, and it just kind of bothered me. It's like, okay, this home, like this thing that she lives in, this bus that she lives in, is her life, right? And they pretty much abandon it to go to the command center, and there's like no concern from her at all about her home. And then the other part that I just thought was total Looney Tunes was when Josefina bit into the apple like freaking Snow White, and she turned into like a paper cutout of herself.
Oh my God. It sounds so ridiculous, like hearing you say it.
She like faints like something out of Snow White.
Oh my God. Like if people could see me at home, I've got like my hand over my face, like I'm like face palming right now.
Yeah, I just thought things like that could have been done better. I do like her new power though. I just don't think, like, I guess, it's revealed, her power is revealed to be manifestation. At first I thought, I was thinking projection or materialization, but it's a good power. I think it's a good creative twist. What do you think?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I have to be honest, like the whole idea of like telematerialization, I mean, it's just another power that they can just like, right, that can do whatever they need it to do. Do you know what I mean? It's not
Mhm.
like, it's not got like specific boundaries to it. That, they could say, well, Michaela could like, they might need a bridge and Michaela could create one. They've created a power that can basically do whatever they need the powers to do, which is pretty much what the girls do anyway, is what they've been doing for the last couple of seasons. Like you said with the powers that they were so crazy. And now I feel like with this telematerialization power, it's it's just like convenient. That's
Yeah.
that's the word that I'm looking for, is
And I
convenient.
already I already feel that the writers are going to corner themselves with this new power, and they're going to have to either change how it was shown in the premiere. Like, already they've already been really inconsistent with powers, so I'm not looking forward to that. Or they're going to realize how convenient this power will be, so what they'll do is they'll probably severely limit it. Like, maybe they'll say that she can't control it, or she has to bind it or something. It's going to make future episodes just too convenient.
I mean, I can kind of understand, like, you know, Michaela, she's an artist, so it makes sense that she would draw things to life. And on paper, that sounds really good. But on the actual show, it just no, I'm not a fan. I'm not. I have to be honest. I'm a bit annoyed because I don't know what I was expecting, but I think I was expecting more because and I hate to compare this to the original Charmed, but I'm going to. They had so many ways to make something that not only was entertaining, but I thought that they could sort of do some sort of kind of tribute, maybe to the original, or maybe to I don't know. It's not what I wanted. I don't know what I wanted, but this wasn't it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. In a way though, I do think that there's some similarity to Paige's power from the original show, and only because on the original show, Paige inherited the power of telekinesis, and because she was half white later, her power worked differently, so that she would call something across the room or whatever, and it would teleport to her. And that was a cool twist, for the show back then. But now I feel like what they're doing is something similar, to where if Michaela wants something, she can just draw it and it'll come to her like that. So, but it just doesn't feel like it would work. I don't know how they're going to incorporate that um to like a future episode, like especially if they're in the middle of a battle. How is that
The fuck's
power going
she
to
gonna
work?
do? She's just gonna stop mid battle and draw a friggin' rocket launcher or something. I mean, I just
Yeah, and I can see it working, like if they need something for a spell, like, a rare ingredient, she can just draw it. And that's where I mean that it could be too convenient. But like I said, I think they're going to have to rewrite how the power works, so they're going to have to change the rules or something to make it make more sense, because like you said, it sounds good on paper, but I don't know how they're going to make it work. I guess we'll
I
have to
don't
see.
like it. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Well, moving on from that, what do you think of her? What do you think of of her backstory that's been revealed so far, and how do you think she's connected to Mel and Maggie?
So they revealed, and if you've watched any of the promos, there's been a couple of teasers. Um, they actually said, well, Lucy Barrett, who plays Michaela, said that she had cancer and that she was left at a fire station. So it's proven that she's adopted because Harry found the adoption papers.
They made a point to acknowledge that she has an M name, that her full name is Michaela, and that she could be related to them in some way. But they left it open ended for the premiere, and the showrunner, Joey Falco, hey, Joey, if you're listening, he said that we're probably not going to find out ever, exactly how she's connected to them till the end of the season.
I think that that's kind of nice that he does interact with the fans.
Yeah, I like how he interacts with people. I like that he responds to tweets. I know I've written to him and he's responded to me on a smaller scale. I wish that I see him responding to like a lot of really stupid stuff on Twitter that's,
Like what?
like just negative stuff. Like I think that he really lets the negative comments and Twitter posts affect him. I really do
Mm,
think that he takes it to heart, especially when they complain about things that he probably had no creative control over. And it really feels like now that he has some control, I think he's taking a lot of that feedback and trying to make the show better. That said, I feel like they're going in the right direction, but there are just some things that still felt clunky. Like overall, like the writing itself, I just felt like everything was just kind of forced and pushed. Even the way Michaela acted, you can tell, like you can it's almost like a switch flipped, especially during the scene where Josefina was in trouble. She went from being skeptical to, I'm not doing this, to full blown, okay, I'm a witch now, which is fine if you see it before your eyes, but it's just like she went from being super skeptical to like completely 100% in it. And I guess seeing Josefina's life in trouble, I guess, was what she needed to see. But I don't know. It just felt like really fast and convenient.
yeah, I get what you're saying. I do. Um, but I just thought that Michaela's character, she brings a different energy to the show.
Mhm.
Kind of like what Paige did when Paige came on the original Charmed. It was like it it was kind of like they changed the show, but it was very much the same. Whereas with this version of Charmed, I mean, it's a different show every season. It really is. It's like they're constantly rebooting the show, constantly changing how it's done, how it's, you know, and some people may like that. Um, I personally don't, because I like my shows to be consistent. I like to know who my characters are and what they do. And even if they do things that seem out of character, it won't feel like completely different characters. And I think part of the problem with the reboot has from season 2 onwards, when they've changed the showrunners, because we're on the third set of showrunners in what,
4 years.
4 years,
Yeah.
and the characters have changed so much. And someone can say, oh well, yeah, that's just progression because people do grow and evolve.
No, no.
But Harry went from wearing like tuxedos and being kind of campy and kind of in his suits and things, being kind of campy, and like he was kind of like the Rupert Giles of the show, to being like totally broody and depressed, and like now he's
Like
like,
on their level enough to date them.
yeah, and like now he's like, I don't know.
Yeah, more youthful, like more on par with their age group. Like it's more believable for him to date Macy, whereas in season 1, he was almost like a father figure. Now he's been like almost de-aged, and
And
the way he's
Mel
written.
and Mel In the first season, she was like the Prue character. She was very in control. She was like kick ass. She didn't care if there was a demon or there's something there that got in the way of her sisters,
Yeah.
or she needs to fight, she would fight. But in season two, they totally like completely changed who she was. Um, she got a lot more passive, like she didn't really do anything, and I feel
Yeah.
like they watered her character down so much from the Mel we had in season one, that now I kind of see that we're kind of getting like season one back, kind of season one Mel back, kind of back.
Right. No, I agree with you. If we compare it to the original, even when they did shift showrunners, because I think that happened around season 2 or 3 of the original show when Brad Kern started stepping in, the changes in the characters, it felt more natural and it was gradual. So when they got Prue out of Bucklands and into photography, they did it slowly. So when it happened, it was like it felt natural. It felt like a character development. Whereas on this show, things just happen and it's dropped and then never referenced again. Like, Maggie being a dancer and Mel
What's
being,
that one episode?
yeah, yeah. So it's just like there's no consistency and things are just dropped from writer to writer or showrunner to showrunner. And it just makes a very, very badly written show. And
Mm.
I'm hoping that things stay consistent. So if they put these characters on a trajectory, I hope that they stay the course as long as the show continues to run, which is very likely this could be the last season. There's articles coming out, predicting that it could very well be canceled. I personally think that they will be given a fifth and final season, very similar to the originals, because the originals followed a very similar pattern where they had 3 full seasons and they were unaffected by COVID, so they got to do their full whatever. And then by season, I think the last few seasons, they just had smaller episode orders and then they were allowed to wrap up. So I think the reboot will probably be given the same treatment.
Mm.
I I just think, and I've said this from the beginning, I really do think that they're just trying to fill this number of episodes for syndication. Like they're trying to meet this quota, and normally it's 100. Traditionally, when shows reach 100, then it's enough for syndication. Lately, I would say the past couple decades, now that number is there, they can do that with like 80 episodes. So as long as a show gets about 80 episodes, I think that's where they're going to cut it off. I don't think
Mm.
I don't think it's going to get eight, I don't think it's going to be like the original where we had 8 seasons or 22 episodes again. I think that if it does continue, we're probably going to get another 10 or 13 episode season for season 5, and they'll probably just end it there.
Mm.
And that also makes me think, and I could be wrong, but I also think that Joey Falco probably is aware of this, and maybe someone has told him that they'll probably will get a fifth and final season to wrap things up, because he has already tweeted that there are some things that will be addressed in a future season if they get one. I mean, he said if, but I think he does have an idea that he probably will get it. What was the stuff that they wanted to do next season?
The Melinda Warren stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Fans have been pretty much complaining that, where's the connection to Melinda Warren and all that? Because we were promised that, well, not promised, but the writers mentioned that on Twitter during season 1, and we never got that, besides that cameo in the Book of Shadows. And Joey tweeted that if we get a season 5, that's when they'll do it. And that would make sense too. If it's that last season, then it would make sense to make it go full circle. One thing that this show has done that I don't think the original really did too much was alternate universes. Now, I know that the finale of the original, they touched on the whole timeline stuff to get everyone together. And I think that was, put together last minute. But this this incarnation of Charmed, they already brought that up for the season one finale. You know, they showed alternate universes, alternate realities, or whatever. I do think that's going to come into play. And I also think that might be how they explain Michaela. So if I'm right, I think that they will most likely incorporate connections to the original with like the whole multiple universe thing.
Mm.
And that's fine. I mean, I think it's a lazy way of doing things, but if they've already introduced it all the way back in season one, they may as well use it. I don't like when shows, you know, introduce things and then drop it and never reference it again. They may as well use it to their benefit and tell a good story.
I know they're going to try and do something with Melinda this year,
I hope
but
so.
I don't know exactly what that's going to be. And if you follow Joey Falco on Twitter, he's been posting a lot of like giving us a general idea of where they're going with this season, and it feels like very much they're going down the route of magical creatures.
Right.
We're going to see a lot of different magical creatures, and they also revealed the name of we got to see a magical creature in this episode. We got that weird furry
Well, we got
fuzzy ball.
several. We saw several.
Yeah, and then we got the pixies,
Mhm.
which I was really excited because I don't know if any, and I don't know if I've said this in a previous episode, but I really, really loved Manic Pixie Nightmare, which is the episode in season one where Chloe was introduced. So I was very excited to see Chloe back. Um, and I was a bit worried, to be honest, when I saw the episode. I thought, oh my God, they're going to kill her off. They're going to give her a horrible ending, you know, because I could see where the episode was going. I was like, they're going to do something so totally unpredictable. Thankfully, they didn't kill her off.
They just killed her
But
sister.
yeah, sorry.
So yeah. So on that note, I mentioned earlier that the ending of this episode really left me wanting more in a good way. I think the Tally Man is a very ominous and very cool sounding villain. Like I really am looking forward to the storyline.
Oh, how are you?
Yeah, well, do you disagree?
I mean, I I thought to be honest, it I don't know. Like, I don't even know what I'm watching right now. Like, this episode gave me a migraine. It was like, well, not a migraine, but a headache. It was like so much to take in and so much going on. And also, just, it didn't, to me, it didn't feel like Charmed because the show feels different again.
I don't know. I like that they went the serial route, but I think they did a lot more to bring in, like I feel like it had a season one vibe. That's what
Mm,
it felt like to me. I felt it really did feel like a season one episode, or like what season two should have been. Like if you cut out season two and three, and you know, just keep in mind that Macy's gone and they start this season, like the storylines kind of fit with what they were doing in season one, because season one ended with the whole magical creature thing, and now we're jumping in back with the magical creature community. And it just felt really, I liked it. I mean, it's not exactly what you'd expect Charm to be, but it was still, I mean, I like that it was very supernatural and magical and whimsical. Like I like the vibe that they're going for. And I also like that they're setting up a villain that seems like he kind of reminds me, like just the name the Tally Man, it kind of reminds me of like the whole ferryman myth. I think that, you know, they're setting up some sort of like deal making creature that I guess collects your soul if you break your deal, like almost like something out of Supernatural with the Crossroads Demon or something. That's
mm.
for me, I like that. Um,
The name of it, I have to be honest, like the name of it sounds like it kind of reminds me of like the Slender Man, but
mhm.
also over here in England, we have a term called tallywhacker, and a tallywhacker is a man's genitals. So when I hear the tally man, I'm like, it kind of it gives me like a weird kind of image. I'm thinking of like, is this some kind of like, you know,
and that's funny
pervert demon or
because
something?
you think Rupert would have, what's his name, Rupert Evans.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think Rupert Evans would have like said, that's a choice of a name.
It's a
But
dick demon.
yeah, basically. But when I hear, I mean, I'm not from the UK, so when I hear tally, I think more of like keeping score, like make like
Mm.
those tally marks that people use to keep track of things. So in my mind, I think of like a creature that's like making deals and like crossing stuff off and keeping track, like a loan shark almost.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's what they're going for, and it sounds like the little hints that we were given, I think that's what they're doing. But I mean, for all I know, I mean, this is the Charmed reboot. I mean, for all we know, they might totally fuck it up later.
Yeah. So if you could rate this episode, what would you give it out of 10?
Like, I would say a 6, maybe
Yeah,
six and a half.
I would give it probably like a 5.5, 5.5, 5.7. There's more that I wanted to see, and I think that they could have improved on. And I wanted the girls to really be in danger, and I don't think they were. I didn't feel like there was any real threat. That negative space thing wasn't, to me, a threat because they just happened to have those matchsticks.
I thought that whole scene with Josefina, like all of that with the negative space, and I just thought it was stupid because all she ended up doing was just throwing Josefina's drawing body or whatever, her paper body, into the like magical silhouette. I guess that was her negative space or whatever. It was just stupid. I get
Mm,
what they were trying to do because she's an artist, and on portraits and stuff there is such a thing as negative space, and it does come into play when you're painting and stuff, but it's so on the nose, it's so forced, so stupid. It's like it doesn't I don't think they understand how ridiculous it sounds when you say it out loud.
I thought it was kind of funny though when Maggie and the girls they ended up in the Blue Camellia, however they got there with the matches or whatever. But I thought it was funny because she ripped her arm off and she's like, I ripped her arm off, and I just thought it was so ridiculous because the idea that her cousin has like been turned to paper and had her arm ripped off. I mean, it just, oh my God. And I really do think we are in for a really ridiculous season. I mean, we've had some kind of like inklings and things that have been sort of thrown at us. We know that one of the episodes is called what, the Sisterhood of the Time Traveling Sandwich or something.
Oh my
Is that
god.
what it's called? It's gonna be crazy. I just know it.
I think there's going to be some episodes that are going to be duds, and I'm fully expecting that there's going to be a lot of filler episodes despite the shorter season.
But
So
why do you think they're gonna put filler episodes in? Because they've got,
because that's what they do. I feel like their main storyline that they've got going on as of the premiere is who Michaela is and who this tally man, who this tally man person is. And beyond that, I feel like those are the two big questions. And I don't know where, like, I just feel like it's gonna take all 13 episodes to get there. And then
oh
while we're
God.
waiting, I just feel like they're gonna throw in a lot of filler.
I have to say the last two seasons were not my favorite.
It
Um,
ruined the show. Like it just I really wish that Carter Covington stayed on, or that they kept him on, and it just stayed the course that was originally planned.
yeah, we would have had such a different show, and I think it would have been a lot better. Um, a lot of us complained about the pacing issues in season one, and we're like, oh, we need a new showrunner change, and I think that's kind of bit us in the ass because yeah.
I just feel like this is probably gonna piss off people, but I have to say this. The damage that's already been done to the show, I think is irreparable, because we're already on season 4. Even if the changes that are being made for season 4, even if they are really good for it and it turns around and becomes watchable and even good, I just feel like it's too late because we've seen that the CW does not really give a shit about marketing the show. They've released information that was wrong or too early.
They released the name of Michaela before they were supposed to.
And they've also, and then they tweeted that season 4, the premiere was going to take place in Hilltown, which I think what happened is that there was probably an intern or somebody, whoever is in control of their Twitter feed. I think what they did is they just Googled the show, saw season 1 stuff, and then just assumed that it was still the same info. It's just very lazy. It just shows that they don't really care too much about promoting the show properly. So I just feel like even if the show gets better, I already think that the viewership is already ruined. I don't think that, I don't think it's going to come back to where it was. And even where it wasn't even that great. So I do think that it's on its last leg. I don't even think it has much life left in it. And I do think that the writers are aware of it and they're just trying to, I think that's why they've decided to be more open and engaging with fans, because it's an experience that is probably the last we'll get. Especially if season 4 ends up being the last. I mean, I'm hoping that they get one more just to wrap it up properly.
I would like to see what they do with that, because they have said that they want to bring up the Melinda Warren thing and maybe do something with the original Sisterhood, which would be, or something along those lines. But
yeah, I mean, I hope that things turn around enough for it to get new life into it, but I just think it's too late. I mean, typically as a show goes on, it gets more expensive to run, and in general, viewership always falls. So even if it stayed good, viewership is never as good as the first few seasons. So I just don't see it turning around to the point where the CW is going to want to promote it and put more effort into making it bigger than it already is. I think they've already decided to cut their losses and just either let it, do what it's doing and then cut it off this year, next year. I just don't see it, becoming a big, I don't see it becoming a big hit anymore.
No.
Which is a shame, because it really had the potential to do big things. I think it could have even rivaled the original if it was done properly. But already, I mean, you can listen to our other episodes. We've covered a lot of our thoughts on why the reboot wasn't up to par with the original, and you can check those out. Is there anything else?
No, but you might disagree with us, but you can feel free to leave comments below if you want to. But, we're just giving our opinions. Both of us have been fans of the show. I've been.
And or I could be coming off too harsh, and it could just be my age too. We're at me and Amber are in that age group where we still remember the original, where we watched it in our childhood and teens, because we were both teenagers, when we were watching it. So it's still, it was fresh in our minds. And I would say that, right now the CW's main audience are teens and young adults, probably people that never have seen the original. So they don't have the original to compare it to. And if they do watch the original because of the reboot, they're not going to have the same lens that we do. They're going to see it and probably think that it's dated or whatever. And it is, but they're not going to have that like nostalgia, that sense of nostalgia that we do. So I mean, on Twitter, I'm seeing a lot of positive tweets and a lot of support. But again, these are probably younger people that don't have the original to compare to. So just take that into consideration when you hear us bitch and complain.
So yeah, we've been chatting for a long time, so I think we should just wrap it up because I'm getting a bit delirious. So thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast, and you can find us on Twitter at PO2_podcast. And our Facebook page is Charmed News. And yeah,
I guess that's everything.
pretend you're trying.
Yeah.
So see you soon. Thanks for watching and or thanks for listening. And bye.
Bye.